Hey guys, Jared Flynn with the BulkLoads podcast. Tyler's with me.
Happy 4th, Jared.
Yeah, we're excited to bring this special 4th of July podcast edition for you.
Yeah.
We thought we would kind of turn a little bit and do a little bit more about what the 4th of July means to us and our customers. So today we're going to bring on Darryl Gibbs. He's with Dragon Logistics. I'll talk about this in the podcast, but Darryl's been on before. It was maybe a couple years ago.
Yep.
And he's got a great story. I'll save more of that that you'll hear on the podcast. But before we get started, just a couple quick things. We keep talking about our 4th of July. Well, it's not a 4th of July hat, but our patriotic hat that we are giving away. I look back in the storeroom. I think we still have couple hundred of these
left. I think about 200.
Yeah. I'm going to be wearing mine on the 4th of July.
I'll be wearing mine.
We want you to be wearing yours on 4th of July, but you can wear this thing to family events, the fairs, boating, lake events, and we want to gift it to you for free. So how do people get that?
Yeah. So we actually set up an email just for this podcast. If you want to email podcast@bulkloads.com, you can message us to claim a hat on there. All we ask is that you can leave us a review or simply just take a picture of you wearing the hat and tag us on social media, and we'll reshare that on our page. Also on that email, if you guys have any future guests that you would recommend or a buddy that you think should come on the show, same thing, just email podcast@bulkloads.com and we'll definitely reply there.
No gimmicks or games. We'll make it as easy as possible. Yep. We're not going to catch you or try to make you do something, whatever, but we want to give this to you as a thank you for us and for even supporting us on the air. I did have a guest after last week's podcast asked about how they can get their hat up here. Yeah. We want to showcase you and your company on our podcast. We would be honored to do that. If you want to simply send us a copy or send us a hat in the mail, the address.
1340 East Woodhurst Drive, Springfield, Missouri, 65804.
And you can put that in the show notes. Yep. It's on our website. But yeah, we would be honored to put your hat up here among others on there. We love doing that. One of these days we need to show in our conference room, we actually have die-cast models of trucks and some not exactly, but close to some of our customers. But we get 2 a month done in honor of our customers, and we put them in our conference room to look at and show off.
Yeah, they're really cool. I want to go in there and just play with them constantly.
I know. If my kids come by, they will. Yeah. I'm almost fearful that I'm sure yours would too.
Yeah, 100%.
Have to keep them high up on the shelf. Yeah. So, I hope you enjoy this podcast. Sit back and relax. And here's my conversation with Darryl Gibbs of Dragon Logistics. Hey, Darryl, thanks for coming on this special 4th of July podcast.
Oh, no problem at all. Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, you've been on before. If our listeners don't know, I had you on a couple years ago. You were running for office, and we'll put that episode in the links if you want to go back and listen to that. But I know that you're a veteran of our military, so thank you for the service. I think this is going to be a great podcast, just your patriotism and what you're doing out there. So let's just start off, Darryl. If you don't mind, talk to us just about who you are right now. What you're doing.
My name is Darryl Gibbs. I'm an independent owner-operator. I'm an independent trucker. And hold on here. And I haul ag products. So I mostly haul a lot of grain, fertilizer, corn. I do a lot from the farms into the factories. Like this one here, I'm going from Bendigo, Nebraska, from a farm there up here to Champion Food, pet food factory, where up here in Auburn, Kentucky. Yeah, I'm just an average ordinary American who loves his country. And like you told folks, I ran for lieutenant governor for Colorado. Didn't make it, of course. My plan, right now, I'm trying to get all my bills and stuff paid and get the truck, get everything that needs to be done to the truck taken care of. And then I'm thinking about running again in 2024 for a lower office. I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag yet, but it will be coming up pretty soon. So, with the blessing of some people, I don't know what's going on by probably by December. But the reason I won't make an announcement is because we have other elections going on, and I don't want my name thrown in there and then throw some confusion. So it's mostly going to wait until after all these elections are done in the later part of 2023, and then at the beginning of 2024, I'll make that announcement.
Well, we will definitely stay tuned for that. Darryl, talk about why you joined the military years ago.
Well, the reason I joined the military because I love my country. You know, it's to me, it's an honor to serve. Is because this is a volunteer thing, and we are the 1% of the total population that's willing to stand up and say, "I'm going to defend this country," and I'm proud of that. I don't need to put a color in front of my name because that doesn't matter. You can look at me and tell me what color I am, and most people get it wrong anyway. I am an American, number one.
Yeah.
I figure I love God, love country, love my family. And being in the military, which I got 11 more months, I'm going to retire. I'll have my 20 years in. But to me, it's a pleasure. Now, is it hard sometimes with me doing my job, doing what I love here out here? Yes, it is. Do I miss out on funding? Yes, I do. But it's just the point being, I'm there with the people who I my brothers and sisters. I have a mission that I do. I love working on C-130s. I love what we do down in Colorado Springs, and it's just, I'm proud to be in the military.
What does, and this has a context or meaning it's different for everyone, but what does freedom mean to you? What we take for granted, and I say that wholeheartedly, a lot of us take for granted the freedom that we have in the U.S., but what does freedom mean for you?
Oh, freedom for me? It's a lot of things. For one, it's the freedom for you. I defend the right for you to say stupid stuff. You have the right to go ahead and express your feelings, even though it seems like you're being ungrateful about what's going on in the United States. You go overseas, and you don't have that freedom. I mean, like I went over to sorry about this. There we go. I went over to and there they have the president is called the Emir. That means he has the last word. Yeah, got it. There we go. That means he has the last word. And a lot of people, what they don't understand is this. If you talk badly about that man in public, you may not be seen anymore, or you're going to get killed. Here in the United States, you're able to go ahead and talk about the president. Here in the United States, you can go ahead and talk about, say that you don't like things. You can go ahead and protest without having retaliation, like in China, when they had those tanks, they ran over those students and all that craziness. So my right, for me being in the military, I'm able to go ahead and help to uphold those rights so you can have them. Whether it seems like you're, even for, and I hate to say this, but even for you, I'm going to say it like this, even for those idiots that step on the flag, which if I see, I'm not. But for those people that step on the flag, we have rights for you to be able to go ahead and do something asinine like that. So I fight for the right so you can be able to go ahead and do things freely, but at the same time, you need to take some responsibility. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying stomping on the flag is good, because it's not. You don't step on our flag. You don't do it in another country. You don't do it here. And for people to be disrespectful for the United States, for the things that the United States have provided, I'm not saying that everybody has an easy life. We don't. But compared to a lot of people overseas, why do you think so many people want to come to the United States, and Biden with this craziness opened up our borders, and you have people constantly pouring into the United States? And then you sit back and if you hear, it seems like at times you have more foreigners saying they love America than we have our own people doing that. And that is freaking sad. And those people that sit back and says they do not love the United States, you seriously got because you need to go overseas. You need to see how these other people live. You need to see why they left from where they always known to come to the United States, because they appreciate what we have. They appreciate the rights that we have, and they appreciate the United States. And people, we need to start doing that. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of us, including me, you, a lot of truckers, a lot of farmers, a lot of people. We love the United States, and we will defend the United States till the last breath. And I'm proud of that. That's the reason why I'm in the military.
I'm just going to say, there's division today, a lot of division in the United States. I mean, you just said it about, people stomping on the flag, not being respectful and all that. I guess we can talk about the why, how we've gotten to where we want to get, but how do we get more unity? We can talk about the problems all day long, the people that are doing the things that we don't approve, things that we don't believe in. But how do we get back to where we were really 30 years ago, 40 years ago? I can remember as a kid, I mean, people were very patriotic. I mean, everybody had a flag flying out of their house. I can remember as a kid, I was just telling somebody the other day, like you would get rulers passed out with all the presidents on, you could see all of them. I mean, you'd have presidents up on the wall. I mean, the flag flying in the schools. How do we get back to that? The love for America that we so much had when we were growing up.
Now, like you said, we don't have to start. We need to stop worrying about people's feelings. If their feelings is that sensitive, get a thicker skin, people. Life is not for your sensitivity. Where if you feel offended about something because someone said something opposite of you, that we have to conform to you. People start standing up for what you believe in and what is right, and then don't worry about the feelings, because that's how we got here before. We were able to sit down and talk, whether I agree with you or not. We could sit down and talk. And another thing is, we have to start voting for people who has our best interests. When I say that, we don't need to be voting for lawyers. We don't need to be voting for people that say, well, I own 5 or 6 businesses. Our founding fathers weren't rich people. Our founding fathers were farmers. They were small businesses. What they did is they went back to the fields or whatever the heck they were doing.
Yeah.
Do I believe term limits? Yeah, that's another one of our problems. We have to have term limits, because look at our leadership. Our leadership is so messed up. We have, okay, let's put it in this example. All right, the lady that Biden appointed, I forgot her name, so forgive me on that. But the lady that Biden appointed to go for the Supreme Court, one of the questions they asked her, what is a woman? Now, and she could not explain it. Now, are you kidding me? You are a woman that has children, and you're going to sit back and tell me that you, as a female, do not know what a woman is. Those are the things that we have to start fighting and get and be real with folks. And for us to be able to come forward, all this stuff of you don't want to hurt people's feelings and all that, we have to get away from that. The truth is the truth. Science is science. Let's go forward, whether you like it or not. People, let's go and start standing up for America. There's a lot of people I see, they have their flags. I have a flag on the back of my trailer. Right now, I'm waiting to march it because the 4th of July got a brand new flag. I'm going to be flying it on the 4th of July on. Going to be on the back of my trailer.
That's awesome.
I have a flag hanging up in front of my house. You know what? There's where we go. We start with that. And this division stuff, like I said, you notice when I said, I didn't say I'm a Black American. I didn't say I'm a brown American. I didn't say I was an Afro-American. I said I am an American. That's where we start coming together, because we are Americans. And it doesn't matter if you look through history and all you little people that want to do this racial division crap, White folks died helping black folks, and people of color died helping white folks. That's how it's always been. That's where it will always be, and it ain't going to change. So it's time to get all these people that does this racial division. We need to stand up to them and say, you know what? In reality, it's not like that. In your own sick world, maybe there is, but I've been out here since I've been driving trucks. I've been out here in places where there's no other people of color, and guess what? I get treated just like I would treat someone else. If I give them the respect, they give me respect. Don't get me wrong. Do we have, sorry about that. Do we have jerks in all races? Yes. But that doesn't mean that we cannot get along with each other. That's all people ask for.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This past year, I have done more traveling than I probably do in most other years, and probably just pent up COVID, limited travel. We went all over the place. But I'll say this: I've told my wife, or anytime, even with coworkers, like when you go across America, and I'm not saying that there's not, but I don't see the racism. I mean, I see all different ethnicities, all different cultures, everybody coming together and serving one another and being kind to each other. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but like, and I guess here's where I'm going with this. Like, man, is the media, or are there groups leading us to believe these false realities that are out there, that there is like this division? Because one thing I heard this recently, that there is a lot of money made off of division. Companies can make a lot of money when they divide people versus uniting them. What would be your take on that?
There's people out here, and that's what they do. They're living, they make their living in dividing people, and that's what they do. We need to start looking at the truth of things and telling these people to go pound sand. We need to start standing up and start telling the truth about things. Just like, okay, let's talk about slavery, since we're talking about this. Slavery. All right, the movie Roots did everything wrong. It's just messed up. And reality is this. It wasn't three white folks came in 3 ships and said to Africa, dun, 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 I'm going to take over Africa. No, Africa had slaves. That's just the way it was. They competed with China. It was a race. It was the occupation that they had back then. There were slaves ever since God created man, and they had different tribes. The person who won, that's the person who conquers. And then if you're the loser, guess what? You're a slave. Africa is no different than anyone else. Africa sold people of color to the white folks to bring them here. Now, on that part, we had people here that were owned slaves. Later on, when they started letting people free, we had black folks or men of color who also had slaves, because they looked at it as like, if they could make money doing this, why can't I? That is factual, folks. If you want to go ahead and bring this around even further, let's look at what's going on right now in Africa today. To me, this is considered slavery. Africa has one of the biggest, they have more than one, but they have one of the biggest cobalt mines in the world. All these cobalt mines put together cannot amount to this one cobalt mine in Africa. 15,000 Africans in a 24-hour shift. Now, they have raggedy clothes on. They don't have work boots. They don't have gloves. They got no eye gear. They got raggedy ass clothes. They're trying to go ahead and make a living. They're grabbing cobalt, which is not a healthy element to be grabbing with your bare hands. You have them working like that. You have mothers with babies on their backs going up and down the ladders. It is so much dust there, you can see the haze. Wait a minute, that is in Africa, and those are Africans. So that is what? Slavery, because they're not getting paid worth any money to do that. They have no safety equipment. They have nothing. But then you have Kamala. What does she do? She goes to Africa and try to talk about the LGBT stuff, which Africa is already, majority of Africa is like, we're not having it. And if you are, we're going to put you to death. But she didn't bother talking about freeing those people. Where's the NAACP? They supposed to be the advancement for colored people. Where are they for that? It seemed like all these people, they're saying, well, we're for this, we're for that, we're for colored folks. But when it comes down to it, they're not. They're a sham. Just like BLM. They were a sham. They were so much of a sham, they went bankrupt. And let me get at first, did BLM say we are against corporations? And when they got some money, what is the first thing they did? They got corporated. So with that in mind, in order for us to stop these people from making money on hate and ignorance, we have to start educating ourselves. And at the same time, not afraid to look at people and say, here is the truth. Look it up. It's very easy. Instead of being swayed by some people, group of people that tells you, I want you to do this, and you act like a sheep and you do this, and then all of a sudden now someone tells you the truth. Either A, you're afraid because your ego been hurt. B, you don't want to tell your friends because you have to belong to a group. You can't stand on your own. Or C, you don't want to face reality. And folks, right now, we need to face some reality. We need to stand up. When we see this ignorance going on, we need to be able to stand up. And the thing is, the TV, these corporate medias, they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to fight because the people that are standing up, you notice they won't cover them. Because if they did, people will start opening up their eyes and their ears a little faster, and maybe they'll start doing some research. But the way they do it, if they can go ahead and keep you ignorant and not thinking, then what you have done, they have done the job for a certain part, I'll just say it right here, the Democratic Party. I ain't saying that the Republicans is just as good because they got their flaws, but the Democratic Party on what they're doing, they're just trying to give you a face screen so you don't sit up and resist. Because what they fear the most is when you, me, all these other people, we get together and we say, enough is enough. We are now standing strong, and we're going to stand against what you got to say.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that. I think it really is on both sides. It's not just blue, but it's also red. And quite frankly, I've gotten to where, I hate to say this, you have to be informed of what's going on, but the information that's being fed is not to inform you, it's to scare you, and it's to upset you and to anger you.
Yes.
And I get to where I stopped watching Fox News in the evening. I'd get on there, but like I turned it on even 3 nights ago. I wanted to say, hey, what's going on in the world? And it was about catching somebody or finding something wrong or something. And again, it didn't do anything for me but get me riled up and angered. And I think that's where it's both sides of the aisle, but we need to stop trying to divide people and work on, hey, how do we unite people more?
Right. Well, that's why when I tell people, when I get back into politics, do not call me a politician. I am not a politician.
Oh,
I am
like
I'm a statesman.
Ooh.
And if you look up what a statesman is and you look up what a politician is, then you know what I mean. I'm not going to give you the answer because I want people who's listening, I want you to Google it or whatever and see what it's about. Now, the reason I can say some things about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, the reason I can do that is because I sat back and I seen what the history of the Democratic Party is. The Democratic Party is basically a party of hate. I ain't saying people who are in the party are like that. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of good people in the Democratic Party. But when this party was brought up, it was brought up because they wanted slaves. They didn't want people of color or anybody who isn't white to have any rights. That's the reason they were brought up. The Republican Party was brought up because they wanted to defeat this. The Republican Party is the party that did civil rights. It wasn't the Democratic Party. Now, if you start doing your research on a lot of things, like the Negro Project, the Homestead Act, things like that, then you start looking at them like, wait a minute, because who introduced welfare? It was the Democratic Party. Why? Because they symptomatically wanted to get men of color out of the families. And look at what happened today. We're at about a 75% rate where we have colored people who is a one family household. Either it's the mom or it's just the dad. We had more couples together during slavery than we do now. And then, and another reason why I say things about the Democratic Party at times, because even for the state of Colorado, when I sit back and I look at these laws that they're trying to pass, the Republican Party has been trying to pass laws that deal with parents' rights. You cannot vaccinate your kid without the parents' consent. Things like that, where the Democratic Party said no. But instead of wanting to do things where people aren't responsible, then they wanted to pass a law for overdose centers, which I'm glad that didn't pass, because they don't. It seems like we don't want to have people saying, "Look, we need to get you off of this drug."
We need to fix the problem.
Yes, they don't want to fix the problem. What they want to do is hide it, and don't want to make you responsible. But hey, instead of telling people, let's fix this drug problem, let's blame guns, because fentanyl's killing more people than guns ever will. And people, let's just put it out here. Say this is a gun. It doesn't do nothing until what? I, with my hands, pick it up and do something with it. The problem is not the guns. The problem is the people. And a lot of it deals with mental health, which for some reason, they sit back. They want to mention mental health. They want you to feel nice and tingly about mental health. But what are they doing seriously about mental health? They are doing nothing.
Darryl, I want to kind of just turn a little bit as we're kind of getting to the end of this podcast. What would be your prayer or encouragement to others out there this 4th of July that are listening to this? I pray and hope that you're going to be with your family. I pray and hope that thousands, all of our members are going to be at home with their family, enjoying good food, barbecue, swimming, fireworks, and all that. But what would be your prayer for those out there?
Pray for those who are not as fortunate as you are. Be thankful that you are able to wake up this morning, for people to be able to talk to you, hear you, for your loved ones to be there, for you to be able to, like right now, I pulled over the side of the road. I am so blessed that I can see this big old cornfield that's over here. Be blessed that these people that was in the military before me, before you, that they fought, they gave their lives. So we're speaking English, so that we are America, that we are now. And the point that we have our rights, we have the Constitution, the amendment, which like Canada, they don't have that. And they're going so far backwards of their government. It's sickening, and that we have people. I am blessed that we have people like you. We have people like the Disrespected Trucker, people like the Reggie Show in Denver, Colorado, that is willing to stand up and tell the truth. And I am so blessed about this nation that God has put his graces on the United States, because out of all the continents, out of everything in the world, we are the best. We are the best continent on the place of the earth. And I am so blessed, and I am so wonderful, and I am so happy that God has given all of us a chance to be able to celebrate July 4th this year, that we're going to be together. And you're right, I will be at home. I will not be on the road. So there you go.
It's as I get older, I actually get more sentimental about it, and thinking about our forefathers and this God-ordained document that they created that gave us freedom. And again, what are we, 240, almost 250 years later, and this document still holds true, and it's proven true. And again, it was a blessing that God ordained and helped, these forefathers believe in a free world, or in a free society, that many other countries still around give us great respect. And we still, as negative as some people say, we still are the leader of the free world. And, and I think we want to continue that route. So God help us, and God blesses us with that. But yeah, I think for me, like you said, it's just, I'm getting a little teary just even thinking about the 4th of July and what it really means, and for us to sit back and be thankful. And we know, and I want to acknowledge, we know that there are people that are going to be struggling out there. There are people that are having a hard time putting food on their table. We know it's been a rough year for trucking, and trying to figure out, hey, how do we move forward? How do we help those out there that has seen rates go down, costs go up, And but overall, again, to be thankful overall for and this great nation that we get to be a citizen and participate in it. It's just quite an honor.
Yes, yes, definitely. And for those truckers out there, people, y'all don't understand. I hear a lot of people, they say truckers make a lot of money, especially owner operators. Okay, right now, I'm paying triple the amount of on fuel, triple. And then when you sit back and you go ahead and destroy, which Biden is doing, which I don't understand it, but he's trying to destroy fossil fuels. Number one, people, for your electric cars, let me explain this to you. Wind power is not what's powering your car. What's powering your cars is a thing called electricity that is made from coal. That is part of fossil fuels. And then also with him doing that, the repercussions is now tires. Tires are expensive. We run through tires. It's expensive to get tires. Now it's expensive to get parts. Anything that's made with petroleum. Look at your groceries right now. A lot of people, they're choosing, what do they do? Do they pay this bill? They get groceries. You know, is that like in my position? Yes, I got to work on this truck. I have to pay for this truck. The money that I use, I have to use. I got to look at, okay, do I make this repair? Do I pay this bill? Wait a minute, but I got to make this repair because if I don't, my truck don't run. So now I'm going to have to back this up. Then hopefully I got to run harder so I can make the money so I can go ahead and get things paid. So yeah, things right now is hard. And we have so many truckers, they lost their trucks. You know, California did something stupid. And then now you got Biden with his craziness. We got all these people losing their livelihood, their dreams over what? Because they claim they want everybody to go to electricity, which is not going to work. It doesn't make any sense. So my heart is off to all those people that are like us, that are on the road, company drivers and owner operators. But again, my heart also, falls for everyone who had a dream to own their own truck and they lost it because they could not afford what is going on. Because truck payment, I am so blessed. I do not have a truck payment. I am so blessed with that. If I had a truck payment right now, I would not be out here. There is no way I would be out here. I would have to get a company job. And like you said too, I would double that. July 4th is going to be hard. You got people, they went overseas, they never came back. Yeah. They did their service, they never came back. You know what? I will always say a prayer for them too. So, and man, and a prayer to you too for what you're doing, man. And the things that you have done. And with your BulkLoads, that has helped me a lot. Smart Freight has helped me. But the thing that is most that I put in my heart is you and I, we have a friendship because we came through this. Yep. You and I have a true friendship where, to me, you are my family. Yep. And I love you.
Oh, yeah. I love you too, brother. I want to end. Well, I want to say this too. And again, our hearts and prayers are to those out there. And we don't say that just to say that. We really do pray for those out there in need. And if there's ways that we can serve and bless those out there, that's what we're here for. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Darryl, before we cut out of here, I want to just end with, again, you talked a little bit about your run for lieutenant governor. You're continuing to be, you're not giving up. You're going to continue in public service. You're going to try to go again. Can you give us just a little bit of glimpse of that? And for people that want to follow you and support you, where would they go?
Darryl Gibbs, this is very easy. Follow me, Darryl Gibbs for Colorado on Facebook, or Darryl Gibbs on Facebook, or on Instagram, Gibbs, Guts, and Glory.
That's awesome.
And I'm on, and and I made that up before Dodge came up with their stuff. And then I'm also on Instagram as Bear or Darryl with some crazy numbers on it. But yes, I ran for governor, ran for lieutenant governor. The reason, and oh wait a minute, and also there's a there's a gentleman that's running. He's independent. He's running for president, and he wanted me to be his vice president. He's running this year, and his last is Anthony Hudson. Look him up. He's a good man. He got some good ideas, and I was thrilled that he asked me. But my thing is, after I seen what was going on with Colorado, I have to continue to fight for Colorado because Colorado's slowly turning into California, which I don't like. And then also, I want to be able to get to a point where the things that I can do or lead, where it can also affect other states in a positive way. Because I thoroughly believe in our Constitution. I believe in our amendments. I believe in things that are correct, not things that are popular, but things that are just and right. And I'm here to serve the common people. That's what I want to do. I'm not here for glory. I'm not here for money. I'm not here to say, well, someday I'm going to have a political career. I'm not here for that. I'm here because I simply care for Colorado. I've been in Colorado since 1995. This is my home. And I'm going to sit back and let these people come from out of state and they get elected and they tear our state apart. And some of the things that are doing, which is ungodly, some of the things they do that doesn't make sense, I am going to do my best to stay in the fight so I can correct these wrongs.
Love it. Well, Darryl, I know you're parked right now. You're not moving. That means you're not making money. So thank you for graciously taking time out of your day to come on and share this episode with me and to give encouragement to those out there on this 4th of July week. We hope that you are safe with your families and enjoying this time. So, Darryl, thank you so much, man, and God bless you.
God bless you, man. Thank you so much, man. And I appreciate you, and I always will, brother.
I love these podcasts where we're doing them. I mean, I love the videos now, but you get to see these guys in action.
Yeah.
Like you get to see their workstation.
Yeah,
where
in the
this is
trucks.
our workstation, but you can see where they are.
Yeah. Yeah, man, this is such a patriotic episode, just about the stuff that he was talking about. One thing that I like about Darryl is he said he's not a politician. He's a statesman.
Yeah.
That stood out to me just because it kind of gives you an idea of what exactly he's trying to do. And even though he's, wanting to be in office and run for governor, he's really wanting to serve the residents of Colorado.
Yeah. And I'll say this from my perspective. I love Darryl's patriotism and what he's served his country. He's a very vocal guy.
Yeah, he is.
And you could tell by listening to this podcast. But I think it shows how much he loves this country and how much he wants best for this country in the future. I mean, he's doing what he's doing, not to, I guess in my opinion, but not to tarnish or badmouth others, but hey, how do we continue to support and love this country like our forefathers did?
Yeah. One thing too he brought up related to trucking is there's a part there at the end where he says that a lot of the general public, they think that truckers just make buku bucks and a lot of money.
I found that fascinating too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes into talking about how he wants the general public to understand that it's not all about the money coming in, but you guys are paying for your own assets, your own trucks, your own maintenance, tires, all that stuff. So I thought that was good that he touched on that. So viewers that necessarily aren't, owner operators can understand more about the struggles that they have to deal with.
Yeah. I love this time of year. I think as I get older, it becomes more sentimental to me. I get emotional thinking about it, and maybe even to where we are in our countries. And we see a lot of division going on. Yeah. And again, I think a lot of that is more media led. I really do believe that. Yeah. When I travel the country, I don't see it like that. I mean, I'm sure it's happening, but I think majority of Americans love this country. They love other people, and we're all working together. Yeah, and I think that's where, we look back when our forefathers, got God ordained to draft this document that we call the Constitution, and it's still effective today. And I mean, it was an experiment. I mean, this was an experiment that they thought and prayed that would work, and it's still working today. And I think we have to be so thankful for that. Yeah, and we wouldn't have what we have without the people who serve our country, and our veterans and active military out there. So we want to thank you guys. Yep. People who have served or are currently serving. I mean, we wouldn't have the freedom we would have today right now if it wasn't for you guys. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. And lastly, we mentioned this, but we really do pray for you all as members with us, but those out there, we don't take that lighthearted. Yep. And one thing, if you do have a prayer request, we're actually going to create a prayer email too that you can send to us, and we will pray for you and your family. we do know there are people going in rough patches. We do know that trucking right now is struggling. We do hear that from our customers and clients. We are every day taking that to heart and figuring out ways that we can create better solutions for you all and to get you to a state of profitability and able to take care of you and your family and employees.
Yeah.
So we take that very serious. But we will have an email that you can send that. But you know how to reach out to us anyways. And don't feel like that you can't ever do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So lastly, I want to give a plug to Smart Freight. Darryl is actually he's been a member with Smart Freight. He's been on BulkLoads too. And I was telling Rachel, the CEO up there, that we were bringing him on, and she sent me a big smiley face. I think the girls up there absolutely love him. I think Darryl, I think he talks with them up there, but it just shows the relationship that they formed up there. He's been using us for years. I don't know if you caught in the clip, Darryl's wearing his little Smart Freight shirt, but want to selfishly give a shout out to them, but also thankful for Darryl, but the girls up there that are at Smart Freight that are working tirelessly, serving our truckers. We don't do it for the paycheck. We do it for the service. And those girls, they absolutely take care of the customers up there, and we're thankful for that.
Exactly.
So anyways, well, I hope you and your family are having a blessed 4th of July week. We know it's only one day, but we kind of spread it out. So hopefully you are with your family, barbecuing out there, swimming, taking advantage. And thank you very much for all those out there. Thank you for listening to the BulkLoads podcast, and God bless.